With the recent release of The Children of Húrin here at Volante Opera Productions, we're extremely happy to say that we have crossed the halfway mark on our demo recordings of Paul Caulfield Godfrey's operatic cycle based upon J.R.R. Tolkien's The Silmarillion. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that on our current releases we have recorded Part 2, Beren and Luthien, Part 3, this year's new release of The Children of Húrin, and Part 4, The Fall of Gondolin. We wanted to make this video to give you a taster of what we are currently working on. Firstly, Part 1, the beginning of the cycle, titled Feanor. Feanor not only tells the tale of the eponymous elf, but also lays the foundations for all of the tales which follow. It begins with the creation of the world, introduces the powers who rule over it, the Valar, and the troubles caused by one of their own, who at this point is named Melkor, but eventually becomes known as Morgoth. There is also the birth of the elves and their coming to live under the protection of the Valar in the Blessed Realm. This is all before we meet the title character. As a piece, Feanor is different dramatically from the three current releases. In the albums available, the narrative deals with, for the most part, the machinations of the people on the ground, the elves and the race of men. We are now heading deeper into the mythological side, dealing with almighty powers and decisions that have repercussions all the way through to the fall of Gondolin. In fact, in the list of named characters for this work, there are no mortals, only the Valar and the elves. The chorus of narrating voices heard in all of these works take a much more prominent position. In fact, there are no solo voices in the first triptych. This is the main reason why we left Part 1 until now. The chorus is the most time-consuming part of our recording process, and in this work they essentially become the lead role, heard much more than Feanor himself. This one was always going to take longer to record than any of the current releases. That's not to say that our troubled title character doesn't get his fair share, though. His journey from being the creator of the Silmarils to exiled, cursed kinslayer, and his ultimate death is all in there. Now, the audio for Feanor is not complete, but we do have a couple of small sections we can present to you here. Firstly, after Feanor and his sons swear their oath to retrieve the Silmarils from Morgoth, Manwë, the Elder King, warns Feanor not to follow the path of vengeance. Feanor answers him in defiance. After Feanor and his sons slay their own kin in order to steal ships to cross to Middle-earth, Mandos, the judge of the Valar, lays his curse upon them. When the album of Feanor is released, we will have reached a wonderful milestone. The entirety of Paul Caulfield Godfrey's Silmarillion as originally written will finally be available for you to hear. But during the recording process of these works, I spent a lot of time talking with Paul about the ending of the cycle. Whilst Beren and Luthien, the children of Húrin, and the fall of Gondolin are all in the same world, they are all standalone narratives with only occasional references to the events in Feanor. Whilst the end of Paul's version of the fall of Gondolin could be seen as a kind of closure with the heralding of Eärendil, we are still left with a lot of narrative threads left over from the very beginning of the cycle. What happened to the other two Silmarils? Did Feanor's sons ever retrieve them? How was Morgoth defeated? These are but three of many questions. Those that have read the original book will have the answers to those questions. But for people possibly exploring this story for the first time with these operas, it does leave quite a lot up in the air. With some cajoling and persistent nagging, Paul started to become open to the idea of composing a final part for this narrative, nearly 40 years after he started the original cycle. We worked together, poring through the Silmarillion and all of the other Middle-earth works that Paul has been granted access to by the estate, to create a narrative that not only tells the tale of Eärendil, but manages to close out all of the other threads and connect this narrative up to The Lord of the Rings. This was not easy. The source materials are often short on singable dialogue and sometimes contradictory, but we managed to create a version that works for Paul's adaptation of the Silmarillion. Paul took these drafts away with him on holiday last year, and following a car accident which left him in a hospital bed in Venice, he began to work on the music. He has since been furiously composing away, and I'm happy to say that in February of 2020 he completed his work and we now officially have a Part 5 of the Silmarillion, which is entitled The War of Roth. Work on the recording has begun, it is now ready for voice recording, and will be our next release after Feanor. In The War of Roth, not only do we witness the fate of Morgoth and the Silmarils, but also Galadriel, Melian, and the death of Thingol, leading to the ultimate destruction of Doriath. We also follow Eärendil and Elwing on their journey to the Blessed Realm and plea to the Valar. So here, as a sneak peek of the new work, is a sample from The War of Roth. This is the point at which Melian has realised that her husband is dead and abandons all of her protections around Doriath in her grief. This is still very much a work in progress, and you will hear that there are no voices on there yet. You'll hear a piano playing the notes of Melian, and synthetic voices being the chorus. These will all be replaced with real voices once the recording has begun. There you have it. samples from the beginning and the end of Paul Caulfield Godfrey's epic scenes from the Silmarillion after the mythology of J.R.R. Tolkien, and the conclusion of our work on this glorious adaptation. This will not be the end of our time in Middle-earth, though. As with all of the works of Tolkien, we have an appendix on the way. If you'd like more information, our webpage is linked below. Please like this video and follow our social media feeds for the most up-to-date news about our recording projects. Until next time, thank you for watching.